very pleased to welcome Sportsnet's Arash Madani. As I said last hour, I always run out of time with Arash. Today we've got way more time, my guy, to cover it all. So where are you at? What are you doing? What's going on? Tell me.
Well, happy holidays, my man, first and foremost.
Happy holidays.
And your crew. We are winding down for the year, doing a couple of year-end things. On the Canadian sports front, just wrapped up the Northern Star Award, Summer McIntosh winning Athlete of the Year. And Rod, I don't know if you saw the story today from the New York Times / The Athletic about what's gone on with the New York Jets. I think there's this kind of notion and belief out there that just because people are in charge, they know what they're doing. And this today was exhibit 67,426 that suggests otherwise, that, according to the report, Woody Johnson nixed a trade with the Broncos for Jerry Jeudy because, now drum roll please, Roddy, this is a new one. Allegedly, Jeudy's Madden rating wasn't high enough, and so that trade fell through.
According to Woody Johnson's kids, his sons, they're the one. Hey, Dad, his rating's not high enough.
And Woody's getting these screenshots from his sons, allegedly, from different social media accounts. They're making decisions off of that. They're super sensitive to what's being said about them on the socials. The kid apparently was handing out a game ball after a win. Like, it's maddening.
So there's number one. Okay. It's top of mind. You know, it's interesting because I was alerted to this in various sources here, but I was listening to Dan Patrick this morning, and Arash, he was like, literally, what do you do if you're a fan of the Jets, or in our case, like my case, the Dallas Cowboys? We know Jerry's the problem. He's not going anywhere, so it's not going to get any better. You as a Vikings fan, I don't know how you feel about their ownership. Maybe you should tell me, what do you do? Yeah, what do you do when your owner's an idiot? I'm not saying that about the Vikings, but some owners are. I saw Tony Khan. Yeah, what do you do?
It's a great question. I mean, you're stuck. I say this kind of in jest, but there's some meaning behind it too. Like, you can change your job, you can change your career, you can change where you live, you can change your hair color, you can change your partner, you can change your gender, but you're stuck with your football team. It's like it's a terminal illness that I've tried, believe me, as a Vikings fan, I've tried. 44 years old, have never seen them in the Super Bowl. And, you're saying to yourself, all right, I'm not going to watch the press conferences on Monday and Wednesday. I'm not going to read the articles. I'm not going to follow what's going on. And then, Roddy, it's kind of like what you're doing right now. Suddenly around noon on Sunday, I'm starting to get the itch. I'm starting to get the shakes. I'm like, I got to watch. They're like, I'm stuck with my guys. This is my team.
Yeah, at least that's the thing with the Cowboys. I can't turn away either, but I'm like, at least we got 5 mantles, trophies on the mantle. But here's one. Rob in Las Vegas is watching. He writes in, he goes, Jets, just end the season. Jets. Yeah, well, your Raiders ain't any great shakes. How about them? We had this poll question yesterday. Who's the biggest dumpster fire? Jets, Giants, Raiders, or Sabres? Vegas ain't doing anything anytime soon. Vegas Raiders.
Like all of the above, And the issue with the Jets, the Giants, and the Raiders is when you kind of look at it from the outside in and the inside out in terms of roster construction, in terms of quarterback, and in at least 2 of the 3, if not all 3, when it comes to ownership, where is the light at the end of the tunnel? Like, where do you see hope? Where do you see growth? The Giants have, drumroll please, no quarterback. I guess they're going to draft one in one of the weaker quarterback draft classes there's going to be in 2025. Who knows what the Raiders will do? The Jets are a grease fire. I honestly don't know how they get out of it. And when you have meddling ownership, which, the Hard Knocks offseason showed, and obviously we're seeing it this year with the Jets, and who knows what's happening with Mark Davis and the Raiders. I just don't know how you get out of it.
James Warnicki writes in, he says, Arash, if what you say about the Jets is true, us Jets fans are doomed. I've said we need new ownership. Oh, yeah, it's very evident. But, just to flip this, I told the world that you are the president of the Kirk Cousins fan club. So since you wanted to go down the NFL path here, I'm all for it, dude. How do you feel about him being demoted in Atlanta with them a game behind Tampa for the division lead?
Well, I guess, Roddy, for me, it's just like vindication and validation of what I've said for the last 6 years about what a zero this guy is. And yet again, this season, after getting $100 million guaranteed, he's showing his true colors. Here's somebody who, since the first week of November, has thrown for 1 touchdown and thrown 9 picks. Over a course of 30 days, Homer Simpson threw for more touchdown passes than Kirk Cousins did.
How about that?
It's a winnable division, and Atlanta has decided that on December the 17th, they decided, with the division hanging in the balance, we are better off going with a rookie quarterback who has not taken a meaningful snap in professional football over a dude who's in year 13. Over a dude that we gave the bag to, over a dude who has only 1 career playoff, and then you start to see it. You start to see not only is he in physical decline, but never good enough to be a franchise quarterback, always kind of played the business side and the free agency side of it right to get paid. God bless him. He's made us $300 million. But this guy he is the opposite of a winner. So some may call that being a loser. Kirk Cousins.
$294 million, actually. I looked it up. The one thing, dude, see, I could go on with this. You and I should have our own show, bro. Somebody said Michael Penix is, his reputation is that he's unflappable. We've watched Kirk over his career, right? You like that? That he's too volatile, too emotional, and that Penix isn't that. That's part of the reason they're making this change. Like, there's nothing saying this is the right move, by the way.
That, Rod. To me, it's not that. To me, this is a guy who's a turnover machine. This is a guy, when the game is on the line, can't deliver. This is somebody that when the pocket collapses, just is the opposite of unflappable. This is somebody that everything needs to be on schedule for him to execute things. That's not how pro football exists. Michael Penix showed both at Indiana and at Washington that he's able to improvise. He's able to roll with the punches when things go the other way. Look, turnovers are the number one factor in if you win or lose a game is turnovers. And when your turnover to interception ratio is more than 10-1, because we just talked about the picks to touchdowns being 9-1. We haven't even talked about the fumbles yet. It's almost like you can follow the pattern of what Cousins is going to do all the time. And for some reason, for all these years, he's had so many people hoodwinked.
Yeah. Well, then at some point the Falcons need to admit they made a mistake in signing him, which I think they actually kind of have.
Yeah, I think they did by making this move.
Yeah. Here's another one. The same Rob in Las Vegas writes in, and he says, Mark Davis is awful. Tom Brady gives me hope as part owner. No argument here on Mark Davis. If you saw him on Monday Night Football with a haircut that his wife gave him that she bought a kit from a late night infomercial, and his mum jeans. But do you think they brought in Tom Brady as a means to turn the team into a winner? Like, I hope Rob's right, but I think they brought him in because he's Tom Brady. I don't think they're going to give him any say-so at the ownership table. Do you?
I'm intrigued because, the more you hear about what's going on with the Raiders, it sounds like they don't have a lot of money, like literal cash on hand. Obviously, they get the broadcast money, et cetera. The franchise valuation is terrific. But this is a team that's always spending in and around the cap. It's rare that they restructure deals in the offseason to give guys more signing bonus money and be able to spend more. I just don't know how much money they have. Now, Tom comes in. I think he gives some cachet. He gives some credibility. He brings some money. Maybe around the draft, Rod, he can help out with some quarterback evaluations, maybe something like that. But Tom Brady coming in as a minority owner, hoping he's going to be the knight in shining armor, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. And sorry to say, Rob in Vegas, and by the way, I know Rob personally. He came to our Super Bowl event that we held there last year at the Super Bowl. Yeah, they've had 3 GMs in like 5 years. So if you wonder why, it's the most volatile team in the league. Colin in Ottawa, just to switch gears for a second, writes in and he says, do we know any candidates to replace Randy Ambrosie as CFL commissioner? You'd be the guy to ask.
I haven't heard. I haven't actually looked into it. It's a great question. Roddy, I don't know if you've done any digging on it. I honestly don't know what they're looking for. The one thing at Grey Cup week when I talked to a governor, for this governor, their number one priority, as it should be, is somebody who is adept, suave when it comes to media rights, because that's where the money has to be. And after 2027, when this television deal is done, obviously the landscape has changed significantly since the last one. And this is where the money is to be had in live programming, in live sports, for a professional sports league. You look around, every kind of new league that's coming in is getting a broadcast deal, is getting a streaming deal. The CFL needs that. So where are they going to find that? I don't know. Again, that's coming from one governor, that's coming from one team, but that has to be top of mind in whatever it is that they're going to do next.
I've heard 2 names. One, the same you have, Mike Morreale and Neil Lumsden. And Morreale fits all those bills. But again, as he told me, they can call me. And I don't know if they're smart enough to do that. Go ahead.
Yeah, one name that I had heard that they reached out to is David Hopkinson. David Hopkinson used to be at MLSE. Then he went to Real Madrid. Then he was running Madison Square Garden and, the Knicks and the Rangers and all of that. And he politely declined and probably wondered, was that a prank? Like, is somebody serious asking me that?
I get it. Yeah. I know. You got to have some self-awareness, guys. John in Winnipeg, John Ohm, says anything Tom touches turns to gold. That is true. That is true. I hope it works out great, but I'm not sure they're smart enough to give him any influence. Okay, Christmas for Arash. What's going on, if I may be so bold? Sticking around? What are you doing?
Yeah, sticking around. Lots of bowls to watch, lots of NFL to watch. Here's what's amazing, Rod. Like, not that long ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, my Christmas Day routine was wake up, do whatever the Christmas stuff was, and then basically at noon, I had to deal with my mom that, hey, what I want for Christmas is to lay on the couch and watch NBA all day. I think the NFL has just taken over everything, haven't they? And, there used to be kind of an agreement. We wouldn't collide with the World Series. We'd give that Sunday night to the World Series. They don't care anymore. And the NFL is king. The fact that the NFL is playing this Saturday up against the college football playoff is even wild.
It's just been a masterclass in what they've done. The bullies that nobody hates. Everybody hates a bully. I don't hate the NFL. The Canadian of the Year, the John Cornish Trophy winner, will be who? The finalists were announced today. Alec Ayamana from Stanford, Ty Benefield from Boise State, Rutgers, Daryl Dijabomi, UNLV's Jet Elad, or Indiana's Curtis Rourke. Is it even a contest?
It's not a contest. It has to be Curtis Rourke. I'm assuming it's going to be unanimous. Here he is taking, Indiana into the college football playoff. The Indiana Hoosiers, 1 loss this season, only to Ohio State, coming over. And Roddy, let's make a prediction. When do you think we'll see Curtis Rourke in the Canadian Football League? What year would you peg? at?
Half past never.
Never, huh? Yeah, I was going to set the year around 2031. See how it goes.
Here's the thing. You worked in pro football. You've been around it. Unless you really, 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 really love it, because a lot of these guys do, but it's hard work. He will have made his millions. It's a different time now. You get those millions in the bank, I think you lose a lot of sizzle, man. I really do think that. It's not like Dan Federkyle or all these guys, and Sam Jaguar. It's not that era anymore. You know what I mean?
Except it all depends on the situation in which you land. So if you're a 4th-round pick, 3rd-round pick, the Vikings drafted Jaron Hall in the 5th round. He was gone after a year, and then he ended up on a practice squad. So you get your upfront money after being drafted, you get your rookie salary, and then you're making $190K US. So it's so much of it depends on who your coach is, how your health is, what the situation you get yourself into, et cetera, et cetera. So you wish the best for Curtis. And look, I think everybody would love to see him in the CFL. But I think if we're really rooting for what's best for Curtis's career, hopefully we don't.
Sir, Merry Christmas. This has been awesome. Thanks for coming on, as always.
To you too, and to your whole crew back there. There's a lot of people behind the glass that nobody sees. Thanks to them, and happy holidays. Always great to see you, Roddy.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. The great Arash Madani, one of the best guys in the business.